Okatakyie Afrifa asanso aba back biem na Okatakyie Afrifa ne second coming yi enye ahogono so ensan se ensema hodo any secret ahodo a Okatakyie Afrifa aba abeto abonten no busua ano adin ye pa nyina yebekaya beginning of this year na Okatakyie Afrifa start ni show YouTube a ensema hodo a osusu se ekoso this current government and as administration mu no Okatakyie Afrifa eboaboa ni nyina no na wabeka ni nyina no ni show so na several months ni yente nka finally wababaka ensema hodo a ode ababeto ho no abusua ano edin yi pa na now expose bebre na Okatakyie Afrifa de aba afa NDC amanyoko no ebi efri 2024 sanso na 2025 yi nso expose ahodo ni bi ewo mu bi wo started there free enioma ahodo a ekoso ewo 2024 elections nim even before 2024 no enioma ahodo a ekoso any after elections yi say his excellency John Dramani Mahama president ewo man mu enioma ahodo a ekoso ewo Jubilee House nyina no Okatakyie Afrifa edi ni nyina ababeto abonten na several questions and webusa Ghana for sanso na several questions and webusa NDC amanyuku na enya asenketo awaka de akwa kwesi $20 million bia according to Okatakyie Afrifa no ebegu NDC amanyuku no His Excellency ni boys ni bi accounts mu wo chese wabo nipa kra $20 million no free na account mu eba NDC His Excellency John Dramani Mahama boys ni bi account mu any the reason why mpoa sika no ebegu accounts no mu in the first place ni nyina no Okatakyie Afrifa akire ni nyina enye no nkwa nsema hodo a CCI ekoso ewo man ni mu ebifa nurses and teachers for akatua ho sanso na dollar to CD rate ene ho nkro ne ba ho ene oral team nsema hodo a currently de omode akwakopi mu ewo court nyina no Okatakyie Afrifa ede ho asema aba abeto abontin wa kire mu to the reason why according to Okatakyie Afrifa no NDC amanyoko Dominic Kaine attorney general entimin prosecute in Tatiampo na nkampese wakwako prosecute nipa ensem ne de abusua ano adin ye pa Ahayeka TV wonya subscribe ya na ni de kwa so abomode ano subscribe ubetimi so akire wadwen comment section hodom na bibia ayekama kama yemborem na ensem ahodo a ode to abontin nyina yenko tie ne
koso wo hu Mama mini kakra nkyere mo.
Fine.
John Mahama campaign team say. They say yeah beto aba no. The last $20 million omunya free he. Monti dey make yi. Monti dey yi. Before question me musa na fa momo ho. Musa John Mahama ban say the last $20 million on the year in the campaign on your free hey.
Fire.
You was a question. Your mama, more here. You ever trouble? Not your mama was or you're very fluid. Now opposition or was kase kuradi. Na a young one.
It means that.
Man. Idea wamu ye nyina points to the fact say it looks like obi impese idea no ye be chicken oforiata na mo the manfo no adwene edi agro and mechel ni enti yanko ne yanko hwe attorney general yenti attorney general
principle of reciprocity applies, okay, and I would have been very happy to hand over Abutrika as I have done, okay, and then get Oforiata quickly in return, all right? But usually, the extradition proceedings take place in a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay, hold on.
Abutrika as I have done.
Hold on. Attorney General, Jinaso na yemusa question. Kovi. Mama me general question. Or say, or you see where they say, usually, the extradition process not started in a competent court of federal jurisdiction. Oba mremu agobi. Ubisa lawyer ni biya say what is the most principal law here pass obi huna. And say say usua mrani nyina wie na wonim jurisdiction of the court a wasua gukwa. It says over file a case. Na case in woni made mani kosisen. Wa bene mani kosisen. Na on the call the wrong court wa de ayeye nyina no. Bronisi o say enkase. Okasa no say extradition process it starts at the competent court of federal jurisdiction. Tienio. Meanwhile, federal jurisdiction chrono one fa anto. One tibi anka nkyere say Obedu United States here. Federal District Court war a United States here. A year 92. Ukodru New York for instance. Federal District Court in 3 New York. Your forum and venue selection. Untimi now sorry I say my file case. You cannot fight an extradition that does not exist. If it's a Ghana from Extradition Act of 1960 Section 7, the ECA, United States, also file a federal question, file anyway. Now yentie
to take a moment to announce that I have formally transmitted the request for the extradition quickly in return. All right. But usually, the extradition proceedings take place in a court of competent jurisdiction. In our case, that is the district court. All right. In the U.S., it will also be the federal district court. Now, mind you, the person who is the subject matter of extradition will fight it in court. Okay, so the American authorities won't just take my request and say, here you are, here is Ken Oforiatta, and then here is, his other accomplished, and you take them, and then they can face trial. It will have to go through court proceedings in the U.S. All right, and I just got to know, that he has hired some of the top. Yesterday, I got to know that he has hired some of the top lawyers in the United States of America, very experienced lawyers, to defend him. Now, I'm not afraid at all. All right, I am not afraid at all. But it means that there's going to be a fight in the federal courts in the U.S.
Attorney General, I am so sorry. You were a noble gentleman. Why are you deceiving the Ghanaian people? Ken Oforiatta has hired some top lawyers. So first of all, extradition process. To challenge an extradition, there must first be a formal request from Ghana. Later, the timelines and data or the extradition procedure, you can clearly tell us a time like Ken Oforiatta and lawyers. And Ken Oforiatta can appeal to the circuit court. So go for almost state court and almost federal court. Almost your friend say federal district court, circuit court, and some United States Supreme Court. Now go for you can say extradition. Say federal district court or magistrate naswa. They all you have to say issue extradition certificate. Tienio by every extradition a year section 1. I say a requisition for a surrender of a fugitive criminal of any country who is suspected of being in Ghana shall be made by the minister by a diplomatic representative or consular office for that country. The minister by order signified to a district magistrate that the requisition has been made and require him to issue this warrant for apprehension. Now, sir, extradition process will be Benoka say the same reciprocity. 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 They say send the towards extradition process. Sana US so any delay. So Ghana Extradition Act of 1960, Section 7. Or say we be say who extradite obi aba be di bone. Who be say e che ne de ne ko ne ku. The NC edi kan ye ne say. E say eye nipa ne kuro mu ne diplomatic senka ye ni okuje to ablakwa. Ebe file abasi Ghana for mo hwehwe nipa no mame. So US is almost the same. Extradition process is almost the same. Now you ready we say US for tie hey obi every day. Now obedu ha 18 United States Code section 3184. Or say whenever there is a treaty or convention for extradition between United States and any other foreign government, any justice or judge of the United States or any magistrate authorized, the key word here is authorized. So you cannot just sit down and allow any judge at all, any magistrate at all, to sit on an extradition process. General Tienier. So Attorney General Ababeka Chere say, ya file Kenoforia time high lawyers for na a lawyer for no more top class. They are fighting the extradition. It's a lie, palpable. Because first of all, you must tell us where Oforiata is. Because you can't just wake up and come and serve a year extradition process anywhere. It must be at the right a year federal district court. Federal district court, you know, so baby, a nipa na no otie. Eti Attorney General for Oforiata address na wonimuno of Ambrey. Eti Attorney General do Oforiata address ne breya. Ni ahunu so Oforiata to California, Oforiata to New York, Oforiata to New Jersey. It is our federal district court in the New Jersey no. And one year file federal na many nkoyi sa court nemra ni nyina yemredi. So no suit. Oh my, so the idea that somebody is fighting extradition is not true. You ready? A year section 18. You ready? I say, may upon complaint made under oath issue warrant for the apprehension. Social media. Govi, Mona Montia, no problem. Attorney General is lying to the people. They said no U.S. court is hearing any extradition case. Maybe extradition case in Omoyen, Ewahi. Attorney General, Dominica Yini, why are you lying to the people? Federal District Court to obey and our file extradition process against Kenoforiata because you can't just wake up and file extradition process anywhere at all. So why is it? Now, Attorney General.
Former Finance Minister Ken Oforiata and his chef de cabinet, Mr. Ernest Dako Akori. You will recall that the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigated acts of corruption and corruption-related offenses by the former Finance Minister and his accomplices and proceeded to file charges in the High Court of Justice against them. On November 19th, 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Oforiata and Ernest Dako Akori from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via a letter dated 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided a requested additional documentation and addressed the observations.
So by December 9th, and I am not say 22nd. So at what point in our filing extradition
that we raised, thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10th, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States.
So the Department of Justice of the United States, Anna Ode Ebrenwo. So clearly you understand that a Department of Justice of the United States, Anna eventually issue a arrest warrant. So how did you manage to tell the Ghanaian people, say, Kenoforiata hire a lawyer for, so among fighting the extradition process? You know what I'm here. Because Okokotra, you ready, sir? You ready? You ready? Now, I say, if on such a hearing, he deems fit, here we are talking about judge now, but national, he deems fit the evidence sufficient to sustain the charge under the provisions of the proper treaty or convention, he shall certify the same to the Secretary of State that a warrant may issue for the surrender of such a person. It's Attorney General, our lawyer, Ninim said, a banner extradition, and your final decision of a court. So if extradition is just issuance of certificate, how did you manage to say that it is appealable? Because per section 3184 of United States Code, no, extradition is appealable. The only time a decision is appealable at the court is when that decision is a final binding judgment of a court. In some instances, when your lawyer when him say even temporary restraining orders and injunctions and the Quran and appealable at the court. How much more a certificate, magistrate, and a judge neighbor issue, and a woodtran torture Ghana for one say, Kenoforiata high top lawyers are they air fighting.
At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the two accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Filed where? Which court? Which judge? When was the hearing done? Filed where? Extradition cannot be filed at any just U.S. district court. Yes, I mean, you should give the people credit them with some intelligence. Kenoforiata ne address otehe. Kenoforiata ne address no otehe.